The 2021-2022 season previews continue today with the Edmonton Oilers. And yes, another team that I don't have merchandise for. It's coming, okay? Calm down. All of it's coming. It's all on its way. Eventually it'll make it here. But today we're talking about the Oilers and their rather controversial offseason. Depending on how you look at it, you can say, oh, yeah, it was an okay offseason. Oh, yeah, it was a horrible offseason. Oh, it was a mediocre offseason. It was in the middle. It was all right, I guess. You can either say any of those things. But anyways, we'll get into their key arrivals, their key departures, and look at their projected lineup. But anyways, if you're new to the channel and you have not already subscribed, or you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, I would appreciate it if you did that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We're less than 40 away, I think, by right now 38 at the time of recording this video. Could very well change tomorrow. So yeah, if you could subscribe, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get into the preview. So last season for your Edmonton Oilers, they finished with a relatively good season. They went 35-19-2. They had 72 points and they finished 11th overall in the NHL, which was for second seed in their division. And they lost in 4 games to the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, they kind of honestly got clapped on. And I'm not really going to deny that at all. This team really came into those playoffs and just got destroyed by a Jets team that was just struggling towards the end. And it was weird, to be honest, because, you had Adam Lowry, and I made a mistake in my Jets preview putting him on the second line. Apologies. It's supposed to be third line center. You had Adam Lowry blocking off Connor McDavid. He didn't let Connor McDavid do anything. And that's the one thing you got to do. That's the amazing part. And we need more players in the NHL like Adam Lowry to defend guys like that, obviously. So, he did a great job at that. And they lost. And they lost in, they lost a couple overtime games. I think they lost a game 1-0. They lost a game in dramatic fashion, like they pulled a Toronto Maple Leafs and lost. It was really just a dramatic season overall. But nonetheless, a dominant season by Connor McDavid once again, getting, I think, 107 points, somewhere around that range, in just 56 games played is unbelievable. Unreal. And that just goes to show how good of a player he is at this point. And I'm generally being honest saying that. So anyways, on to your key departures and key arrivals. You have for your departures here, you have Ethan Bear, and that's a big top 4 defenseman that they're definitely going to miss. That really does affect this blue line. And to be honest, this blue line kind of took a lot of hits this offseason. They lost Caleb Jones in a trade which sent him over to the Chicago Blackhawks for a guy we'll get into a little bit later. They also lost Adam Larson. Now, the funny thing is with that was, I was seeing speculation all up until it happened that, they were getting closer to signing Larson than Tyson Barrie. And then all of a sudden, one day, we covered it on the Nordic and Mark podcast too. Follow that. The channel is at the end of this video. And then one day, I'm looking at speculation, and I see it appears that the Johan Larson Oilers contract have gone dark. It appears that Tyson Barrie is more likable now. And then Adam Larson gets selected by the Kraken, I think signed to a 4 or 3-year extension. I'm not too sure what they did there, but they did definitely sign Adam Larson to a contract. I'd say one of the good moves that they made this offseason was buying out the contract of forward James Neal. And honestly, it really wouldn't surprise me if this is the end of James Neal's tenure in the NHL, to be entirely honest. I look at the Oilers, I look at every other team in the NHL. The necessity for James Neal is not really needed anymore, to be honest. So that's it. Neal's gone. It's all said and done. They also lost some depth guys in Jujhar Khaira. He went to the Chicago Blackhawks as well through free agency. They lost Dmitry Kulikov. Of course, he's over in the Minnesota Wild. We covered that preview a couple days ago. Make sure to check that out. They also lost Gaetan Haas. I'm actually not too sure where he went. I think he signed a 6-year deal with some team in the SHL. I may be wrong on that. Don't call me out for that. And then they also lost Patrick Roussel, which I'm also not too sure where he went as well. So I'll have to look into that before I edit this video. But yeah, that's their departures. I'd say their defense took the biggest hit. And to be honest, I really don't like the moves they made getting more guys. So in your key arrivals for your Edmonton Oilers, you have about 5 players here, and I like about one of them. And the only guy that I like out of all those guys is Warren Foegele, coming in to trade with Ethan Bear. Now for me, that trade's kind of a win-lose situation for the Edmonton Oilers. It's kind of a lose-lose situation for Carolina too, because they lost a good depth forward. Foegele would definitely be a good depth forward, probably playing third line, maybe even second line minutes. at this point. I think he is a solid enough player to do that, and he's really proved himself in Carolina as a very underrated forward. And then they got Duncan Keith, and I was like, okay, all right. I gotta commend Chicago, and when we get into our Chicago preview, which will be in a couple of days, likely next week, by the way, unless some schedule change happens, I hated it. I genuinely hated it. Look, this was one of the good moves Chicago made this offseason, and then they trade away Duncan Keith. Good, they needed to get the cap away, and the Oilers, I can't process it. Like they had so many hits to their defense, and they're saying like, oh, Duncan Keith's going to bring that veteran presence. You lost the rest of your defense to make that work. You lost like half of your defense. Your defense consists of a bunch of old guys and Evan Bouchard. It's literally just old guys and Bouchard. Boom. That's their blue line. Genuinely. It's like Tyson. If all these guys are in their prime, it's like the best blue line in like ever. You have Duncan Keith, have him in his prime. He's insane. Darnell Nurse, Tyson Barrett. You got some. It's whack. Whatever. Anyways, moving on here. They signed Brendan Perlini, who took a year off from the NHL, probably COVID reasons. He was playing somewhere in Europe. I remember him from the Coyotes. Great memories. Anyways, they acquired Cody, Ceci, and this is another move that is stupid to me. And I made a couple of TikToks. Follow my TikTok, by the way. It's down the link below. I made a couple of TikToks discussing Cody, Ceci, and Tyson Barrie as well. I said they're the two most overrated players in the NHL, and I stand by that. Barrie, we'll get into a conversation with him later because he really isn't a key arrival because he re-signed, sure, but he was already on the team. But the thing is with Ceci, he played with Crosby, and Crosby makes everybody good. And that's why I think Crosby's a level above everyone else. But anyways, the thing is with that, like Ceci was garbage in 2019-20 with the Leafs, and he came to the Penguins, signed a contract there. I was like, what the hell are you doing? And he did well offensively. He didn't even do that good defensively. You look at his advanced stats, he did not do too well. So I don't like that they gave Ceci term. I think that's going to bite them in the ass in the future. But I mean, hey, he's playing with Connor McDavid, so I guess he's going to get like 40 assists, whatever. Doesn't even matter. Anyways, they also acquired Derek Ryan as well. I don't mind that move either. Solid move, solid depth option for the Oilers there because they did lose a lot of it. Obviously, excuse me. And that's their key rivals and key departures. As you can tell, I hate them. And then one guy I also forgot that I apparently didn't put on my board, which I don't know why I didn't, because he's actually probably the biggest name they brought in, is Zach Hyman, forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who left. Yet another player who leaves for the Leafs. But anyways, we're not going to talk about the Leafs. With the Oilers, I like the move. I think Connor McDavid needs guys to play with him like that, and he's really the other guy besides Foegele that I like that move. I think that move's going to be very solid for them in the future. But unless if I'm missing someone, that's their key rivals, I think. I hope. Probably. Anyways, that being said, let's move on into the projected lineup, which we may spend some time on this. As for the top six, you have Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, Kailer Yamamoto, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Leon Draisaitl, and Jesse Puljujarvi. You could say, Nordic, with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' contract, he's obviously going to play first line. I wouldn't deny you on that. If you want to put him up to the first line, I don't care. But I feel like Hyman, as I said earlier, was brought in to be that guy to play alongside Connor McDavid. You need to build a team around him. He's obviously the guy you want to build around. And I think they're doing very well with that, kind of. As for the bottom six, I really like the top six, by the way. McDavid, Yamamoto, they're all solid. Obviously, McDavid's McDavid. As for the bottom six, you have Josh Archibald, Kyle Turris, and Warren Foegele. Then you have Brendan Perlini, Derek Ryan, and Zach Kassian. Then as for the depth guys, you have Devin Shore, Lavoie, McLeod, and Holloway. So obviously Holloway is going to get chances, no doubt in my mind. He'll probably get a shot right out of the bat. Maybe he'll make it out of camp. But I don't like that bottom six. I don't. I hate that. I hate that wing side of Archibald and Perlini. I don't think that's going to be very strong this coming season. I don't have a problem with the right wing side. Foegele and Kassian. I'm cool with that. I like Foegele a lot. Kassian is Kassian, so you can say that what you will. And then, of course, Derek Ryan as well. I like him. Turris. He had a relatively down year with the Oilers, but I think he can still be a solid third-line center. Anyways, that's it for the bottom six and the forward core. As for your blue line, I've been very vocal on how much I don't like this blue line. You have Darnell Nurse, Tyson Barrie, Duncan Keith, Cody Ceci, Slater Kokoek, Russell, Legason, Bouchard, and Broberg. So that's your decor there. That's your decor. I like. What am I saying? I don't like that decor. I don't. I genuinely don't. Guys like Bouchard and Broberg are definitely going to get shots. And even Legason, too. I think he could get a shot in this core. Because I look at this core, and I already ranted about it earlier, but I'm going to rant about it again. This core is old as hell, and they're all getting paid like shit. I'm sorry. Excuse my French. I don't usually curse this much in videos, but when we talk about a team like this, as for the first pairing, Nurse and Barry. Okay, Barry, sure. He wasn't too good in Toronto. Yeah. No one's good in Toronto. Look at Ceci. Anyways, Barry comes in this season with the Oilers. Plays okay. Plays good. I mean, McDavid got him points. He had more points than every defenseman somehow. But anyways, and then he gets signed to a big contract. I'm like, bruh. Like, come on. And then Darnell Nurse. I like Darnell Nurse. He's probably the only blue liner that I like besides Bouchard and Broberg. But the thing is with him, like, he's also getting paid way too much money. I don't think anybody, even Oilers fans, are going to deny that. As for like guys like Duncan Keith and Cody Ceci, I already was very vocal about Cody Ceci. Keith, he's old, out of his prime. I guess he is a veteran presence, but with all the guys you let go, it doesn't matter. So, whatever. All these guys are old as hell anyways. But as I said, Kokoek and Roussel, very solid pairing. Legason and Bouchard. I know Bouchard, Legason, and Broberg are definitely going to get shots. Definitely. The goaltending. The wonderful world of goaltending. A wonderful world. But it's not even the Cody Ceci thing. It's not even the Duncan Keith thing. It's not even the Nurse and Barry and Larson and all those other situations, all the other hell that happened this offseason, and even excluding the playoffs. The part that makes me mad the most is they haven't done anything to change the goaltending since 2019. It has been the same pairing the past 2 years, and it has not worked out. I'm sorry. It has not worked out. Look, I like Mike Smith. I'm not going to deny it. Smith had a good ending towards the end of this season, but he is old, and he's not going to be the starter for this Oilers team. No way in hell. No way. Koskinen, I've been very vocal on. I've had a lot of faith in him in the past. I've lost all that now. With Koskinen, I've said, like, well, if he works on his glove, if he works on the errors of his game, he can become a legitimate, maybe backup, maybe even a starter goalie. And it obviously hasn't worked out. Stop taking chances on him, Ken Holland. For the love of God. And then as your third goalie, you have Alex Stalock. And I like Stalock. I think Stalock should get more shots. I think he should be the backup. Because I think he's a very solid player. I thought it was solid with the Minnesota Wild. And obviously they let them go through waivers. He's obviously on the Oilers now. So, that's your team. I like the top six. That's about it. I'm not a fan of everything else. So, I mean, yeah, it's probably one of the worst teams I've previewed so far. And I know Oilers fans are going to be like, oh, that's not true. The Red Wings will be worse. And I don't even know anymore, to be honest. What am I even talking about anymore? What team are we talking about? And now for the final question. Do the Oilers make the playoffs? With Connor McDavid, they will. I can't imagine without Connor McDavid, without Leon Draisaitl. Hell, that top six alone might carry them to the playoffs. they might let in like 400 goals, but you know what? With Hyman, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, McDavid, they'll score 500 goals. Yeah, we'll make the playoffs, no doubt. Yeah, I can't imagine they don't make the playoffs. Being entirely honest with you. I look at their team. I mean, like, I don't like the bottom six. I don't like the defense. And I could be wrong, completely wrong on the defense. Honestly, for the sake of Edmonton Oilers fans, I hope I am. With the goaltending's scary, but, whatever. Anyways, I think the Oilers will make the playoffs without Connor McDavid. They'll be just swept in the first round by probably, like, Chicago. That would be ironic. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Oilers fans, I'm sorry, but I don't like your team. I mean, I don't like him personally. I just don't like the core you have. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Bryce Presley, I really do appreciate it if you guys subscribe. That means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.